All eyes, though, on Oliver Rowland. He's down in 10th place, last in this group at the moment. So Evans about to improve. He's on personal best in Sector 1, personal best in Sector 2. What's it going to be as he comes to the line? Can he make it through? No, he can't. Fails to improve and loses time as Natto goes to the top of the pile at the end of this session. But all eyes on reigning world champion Oliver Rowland. This is now or never time for him as he comes across the line. He can't do it. He's only P6. Oliver Rowland out of qualifying in Group A here in Miami. So delight for Tommaso Volpe with Natto making it through, but the sister car, the reigning world champion Oliver Rowland, does not make it into the duels. Let's have a look at classifications from Group A, though, and work out exactly how it all went down. Natto, Cassidy, De Vries and Muller are going forwards. Evans, Rowland, Marti, Buemi, Mortara and De Grassi will go no further. Yeah, let's see what Verne can do then. He needs a strong result. He knows that car's got pace and performance. He saw his teammate Nick Cassidy progressing forwards from Group A a few minutes ago, but the lap time's not going to be here for Maximilian Günther as he's out of qualifying.
So you can keep pushing, you can keep pushing.
Joel Eriksson
keep pushing.
So Eriksson comes into the pit lane at the end of this one, but he is going to be making his first appearance in the duels in Gen 3 then here. And again, exactly what we saw in Group A qualifying. No improvements right at the end of the checkered flag, including for Jean-Eric Verne, who is last of the classified runners at the end of that session. Group B classification then, Taylor Barnard quickest ahead of Antonio Felix. Costa. Joel Eriksson makes his first appearance in the duels for Envision Racing ahead of Felipe Drugovich. Time to get the first duel underway. Quarterfinal 1, Nick De Vries for Mahindra, along with Nick Cassidy for Citroën. As we come through into the final corner of turn 13, what's the score on the door going to be, and which of the drivers is going to progress forwards and into the dual stages further? It is Nick De Vries. He out-qualifies Nick Cassidy by a tenth of a second. Cassidy pulled it back in that third and final sector, was actually quicker than the Dutch driver, but ultimately De Vries' first and second sector were enough for him to get the advantage. Nico Müller versus Norman Natto here in quarterfinal 2. Second sector, the Frenchman has pulled it back as we ride on board with him down into turn 13. Oh. He's deep, he's outbraked himself completely then here and handed the lap and the opportunity into the semi-finals to Nico Müller on a platter. And unfortunately there for Norman Natto, it is not going to be a progression any further here in Miami. Joel Eriksson versus Antonio Felix da Costa for quarter-final 3. Let's see whether Da Costa can continue that advantage as he comes to the timing line and takes the checkered flag. He will out-qualify Joel Eriksson and progress forwards into the semi-finals. That's something for Jaguar TCS Racing to smile about after a torrid start to 2026. Da Costa will go head-to-head. Felipe Drugovich and Taylor Barnard head-to-head in quarter-final 4.
Drugovich has got the advantage as we head into the final corner of the lap.
Yeah, so
who's your money on, Tom?
Well, turn 13, Drugovich is deep. He's missed the apex at 13. That might hand a bit more of an advantage back to Taylor Barnard as they come to the line. 1,000th of a second in it. Can you believe it? The Andretti team are literally a stone's throw away from our commentary box, and I can hear them from inside here. Felipe Drugovich will go through and into the semi-finals. So let's have a look at the duels ladder then and just remind you how it's all worked out in the quarterfinals. Nick De Vries versus Nick Cassidy, Muller versus Natto, Eriksson versus Da Costa, Drugovich versus Barnard. The upshot is semi-final 1 will be between De Vries and Muller. Drugovich and Da Costa will go head-to-head in the second of the semi-final. Nick De Vries for Mahindra going up against Nico Müller for Porsche. The Swiss driver in the Porsche. Nick De Vries getting a bit of opposite lock through turn 11. That's going to cost him time all the way down this back straight into the hairpin of turn 13, though. De Vries did have an advantage in the second sector, pulled it back to just 39 thousandths of a second, the deficit between them, so he's catching further still as they come to the line. Is it De Vries or is it Müller that goes through? It's Nico Müller into the fight for pole position. He out-qualifies Nick De Vries by a tenth of a second. That's a phenomenal job from the Swiss driver. Up next, semi-final 2. Who will be joining him? Felipe Drugovich or Antonio Felix da Costa? He comes down in towards the hairpin.
Yeah, it's incredibly close, and Drugovich got a brilliant line through that final corner. That is going to be a strong lap, a 55.39. That is a great lap from Felipe Drugovich, and he's really thrown the gauntlet down. Da Costa, one last corner to make it work, Tom.
Yeah, quickest time we've seen so far in the dual stages altogether for Felipe Drugovich. Is Da Costa going to be able to respond to that? He's a tenth and a half away as we come to take the checkered flag. He doesn't do it, and Felipe Drugovich goes through and into the fight for pole position here in Miami in Andretti's home race. The rookie is on sensational form in the Sunshine State, and it will be Nico Müller versus Felipe Drugovich in the finals here. As we come across the line, down in towards turn 1 then for Nico Müller. The nose dives under braking into turn 1. Looks like he hooks it up all okay through there, but the proof will be when we come through the first sector. A high 22-second time through sector 1 is about as good as we should be expecting to see. Drugovich on the right then, Nico Müller on the left. We've slowed these 2 laps down for you, and how is it going to play out between these 2 drivers?
Yeah, see, Drugovich there, there's definitely more sort of seesawing action into turn 1. But different lines, and Drugovich has gone a bit deep, I think, on the way into 4. That will compromise his exit, and you can see there, he's dropped to 10th.
Yeah, Drugovich then a tenth of a second away from Nico Müller. Needs to have a good middle sector to try and build back that advantage. Müller's car over the curbs and a little bit more nervous, it looks like, from the rear there, but he seems to be keeping on good pace as we come through into turn 11.
Yeah, it kind of swings around a bit through the lap, doesn't it? You see where some drivers are good, not so good. We're now coming into the final corner, Tom, and it's anybody's guess as who's going to be on pole position.
Will it be Müller? Will it be Drugovich? Whatever happens, it'll be a brand new pole sitter in Formula E as we come to the line. Müller versus Drugovich then here in Miami, and it's Nico Müller that takes it by a tenth of a second over Felipe Drugovich. Delight for the Swiss driver in only his 3rd race for the factory Porsche team. A phenomenal effort here in Miami.
So what do you like to do?
Start by handing me your phone.
He knows exactly what they're transporting when. He's in and out in seconds. He hits jewels, cash, and high-value items.
I underestimated you.
Crime 101, only in cinemas.
Don't just earn money, take control of it. At XTV, no matter how much you start with.
After 5 laps under the safety car, we are about to go racing here in Miami as the 5 red lights are now coming on. It's time for a masterclass then as the lights go out and we go racing. What can Drugovich do from the front row of the grid? What about Nico Müller? He gets a good start from pole position, drags down towards turn 1. Keep an eye out for Taylor Barnard on the outside there in the DS Penske. Müller's deep. Drugovich is on the inside, challenging for the race lead. They're all scrabbling, trying to find grip. Drugovich looks to the outside as you've got Antonio Felix da Costa in the mix there. He is side by side with the Mahindra of Nick de Vries coming through into turn 4 and straight into an early attack mode then for Felipe Drugovich. So he wants to get maximum traction, maximum grip and cycle through and challenge for position, which he's already doing as we come on the run into the left-hander. Watch out for Nick de Vries. He's got 2 minutes still left of that deployment, and he's very much within striking distance to challenge for the lead. Müller, meanwhile, is challenging for the lead against Drugovich and goes through as we begin at the next lap.
This 4 has now become a 5 because Pascal Wehrlein has just joined them.
So they're the 5 that have used the attack mode, isn't it? You know, the next one is Jean-Eric Vergne, who's still in that attack mode. But the first 5, they've got that gap partially because they have, well, I think primarily because they're the 5 who have used one attack mode.
It's interesting looking at the strategy there for the Jaguar cars of da Costa and Evans. They're in 6th and 7th place respectively, and neither of them have used an attack mode at the moment. Vergne, meanwhile, who's sort of tail-ending them, as you can see, is still in attack mode. I wonder what sort of ground he's going to be able to make up. He's about a second or so away from the back of da Costa, who in turn is another few seconds behind his teammate. But there's a possibility there that the Jaguars are trying something different in the opening stages of this race, and we'll see whether that strategy proves to be one that will work out. Coming down the back straight we are. You can see Oliver Rowland on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, down in 17th place, the reigning world champion. It's not been a particularly brilliant race for him so far, as Drugovich attacks Muller for the race lead down at turn 13. Might open the door here for De Vries, doesn't though, and blocks them all off as we come along the start-finish straight. It's still as you were at the front of this one, but Drugovich is looking to try and challenge. Can he do anything for the move on the inside down at turn 1? He's got the track position. Has he got the place against Nico Muller? He has. He goes through and into the lead for Andretti in their home race. The advantage of the attack mode in the wet is significantly increased, and you can see that evident there with Da Costa going through for second on Felipe Drugovich. Drugovich going a bit deep on the brakes, just getting a little bit caught out by the closing speed there. Evans is again closing up onto the coattails of it. So again, Da Costa now challenges for Nico Muller. A big chop over on the start finish straight between Da Costa and Muller. The upshot is it's the Jaguar driver who is now in front for the first time in season 12. And is this an opportunity that Jaguar can take advantage of? Evans now does go in for his first attack mode deployment. He's been sat there conserving energy at the back of the pack, and I wonder whether this is going to prove to be to his advantage. Now 2 minutes of attack mode for his first deployment, so he's got to get a move on. Right, next target, Nick De Vries. Next target acquired and disposed of. So, 4th place then for Mitch Evans. What about Drugovich? Can he pick his pocket before turn 13? He closes up under braking, but he's not quite there to pounce for position.
We now see Mitch Evans applying the pressure to the Portuguese driver, and he goes down the inside of his teammate. Who's going to get the better traction, though? Looks like Da Costa's going to fight back, and he holds the position.
Yeah, side by side they go down the start finish straight. Da Costa with the inside line with track position going down into turn 1. Who's going to be last of the late breakers here? Can Evans firm it around the outside of his teammate? He's late on the brakes. He's going to run a bit deep. Can he gather it all up? Evans does go through for second on teammate Da Costa. As we understand, there is a bit more. Coming down, bang! That's Drugovich straight into the back of Antonio Finished Da Costa down at turn 13. Disaster for Jaguar, head in hands time for Ian James, the team principal, and for Andretti, an opportunity of victory coming to a premature conclusion. Let's have a look at what happened with Drugovich and Da Costa then. So just misjudged the braking, didn't he?
Yeah, just way too quick.
Muller goes for a defensive line, out late on the brakes there for Mitch Evans. I thought we were going to get a repeat of what we had 1 lap ago. Goes for the switchback on the inside, side by side they go. That is absolutely phenomenal from Mitch Evans. Plays him like a fiddle as he comes across the line to take the lead of the race. Race leader Evans goes in. Has he built out enough of a buffer? Quite comfortably there. Beautiful from Mitch Evans. Final attack mode deployment, 6 minutes left on the clock, and he manages to hold on to the race lead as well.
That's perfect, isn't it? It's absolutely exactly what he would have wanted. No drama of having to risk an overtaking move, and he should be able to consolidate this.
This is not a backpack. This is a 40-liter precision-engineered solution to pack with smarter, moving faster.
Marti versus Buemi in the battle for 8th place. Buemi's going up through ahead of the Cupra Kiro driver. And what's happening up the road? Da Costa is in front of Eduardo Mortara, splitting the 2 Mahindras. Oh, Mortara on the inside, crunch of carbon fibre into turn 4. Just gets into the side pod there of Da Costa, gives him a face full of wall on the outside there as well, and Mortara gets the position back against the Portuguese driver. An absolutely perfect call of strategy for the Kiwi. Started the race a bit further down than he would have liked. However, he's made consistent progress from 9th on the grid, and now he will come through into the final corner to take the checkered flag for the first time since Berlin 2025. Jaguar TCS Racing had no points on the board going into this weekend, but they are now winners in Formula E Season 12 as Mitch Evans wins here in Miami ahead of Nico Muller and Pascal Wehrlein. A double podium for the Porsche team. Let's get confirmation of the results here in Miami then. Mitch Evans takes his 15th career win ahead of Nico Muller and Pascal Wehrlein. Joel Eriksson in his full-time rookie debut season finishes P4 ahead of Nick De Vries and Eduardo Mortara ahead of Sebastian Buemi. Antonio Finished Da Costa will be a little bit disappointed, but he was in front of another strong performance. More points for Pepe in 9th position. Marti finishes ahead of Jake Dennis in the Andretti.
Towards the end it came down to the attacks, but I just had really good raw pace, and they got me towards the front without doing any attacks. I knew quite early on that I had a good car underneath me. I had really good traction, and yeah, I just want to thank the team for giving me the car. It was, yeah, in these conditions, you never know what you're going to get. So I knew, yeah, from probably before my first attack, they were a good shot at the win. We just had to execute the attack modes. Nico was super quick as well, so it was obviously a race between us two, and was able to get past him and get the job done. So yeah, the dry conditions for me this morning were really tough. So yeah, thank God for the rain.
Nick Cassidy is still leading the Drivers' Championship despite failing to score here this afternoon. However, his nearest rival is now Pascal Wehrlein. Dennis and Roland moving down the order. Muller and Evans moving up the order at the expense of Eduardo Mortara. And look at that, Joel Eriksson catapults himself up inside the top 10 with 12 very well-deserved points for the Swedish driver. He's just in front of his teammate Sebastian Buemi as well as Taylor Barnard. Mitch Evans, a winner in Formula E once again for the first time in season 12 as he holds the winner's trophy aloft here. It's magic in Miami for Mitch.